Have you ever thought to start your career as an artistic swimming coach, but you are thinking and contemplating, is this a good career choice? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down cons and pros of being an artistic swimming coach. So stay to the end to make sure that you have all the information that you need before you make your decision. Hi there, welcome to Synchro Secrets, the go-to place for all things artistic swimming. My name is Agata. I am an artistic swimming coach and a content creator. And today I am going to talk about a very important topic that a lot of you are asking me about. What are the cons and pros of being an artistic swimming coach? So if you are interested in becoming one, or maybe you are already a coach and you're just thinking to check the video out, make sure you watch this video to the end. And also today I have a special guest joining me and you can see her there. Her name is Yumi and this is my cat and I hope she's gonna stay during the whole video, but let's see. And before I start, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to my channel so you never miss any of my artistic swimming related videos, and let's go for it. Let's kickstart off by talking about why so many people, including me, are drawn to this career. And I can already tell you that it's extremely rewarding. It's very challenging, but if you like a challenge, this is definitely for you. So I am going to break down all the pros that I thought might be interesting for you. And by the way, if you can come up with more pros, just let me know in the comments. Maybe I missed something. So then, we can chat about it and maybe I can make another video adding the pros that are listed in the comments as well. So the pros number one is the creative fulfillment. And I think in this career as an artistic swimming coach, you probably know that you have to be pretty creative because you have to create those routines. It's kind of like dance, but in the water, right? And now with the new rules and the changes to the new rules, creativity and artistic impression is even more valued. So I think this is something that maybe it's not so um, noticeable or like met in other careers. I think here you can really get those creative juices flowing. And if you want to look for new moves or maybe new types of teams that no one thought about even, and kind of portray them in the water, which is, by the way, extremely challenging because you obviously have all those obstacles that you have to go through before you even create the choreography. So, it's not only about the technicality of the sport, which is also for me very interesting and very nice to coach, but it's also the point that you can be creative and, you can work with your team on choreography. You can come up with different moves, different routines. And I think this is something that a lot of people like in the sport. And the pros number two, for me, I think very, very rewarding, and I love this pros is the athlete development because you have an athlete that comes to you. Let's say they may be 6 years old or 10 years old, right? They start their career, or even adults, they come to me and they say, I want to try artistic swimming. And then you work with them and they cannot even perform the basic skills. And then after some time, you see the developing of the athlete. They can perform more difficult skills. They are more confident. As an artistic swimming coach, you not only teach them synchro skills or synchro stuff, but also I feel like you teach them skills that they can use in life, like self-confidence, perseverance, persistence, consistency also, and like not giving up or like coming back after a bad performance and so on and so on. There's so many skills that you can teach in artistic swimming that people can use outside of artistic swimming that you cannot even imagine. And for me, seeing the athlete being confident and performing well and like this development and improvement, me as a coach, I love it. This is my favorite part of coaching. I just love it. It motivates me. It gives me energy. That's why I think mostly I coach, because of the athlete development. And the pros number three, which is also pretty cool, I would say, is traveling opportunities, because most of the time you have to travel to competitions. Yes, some of them are local, so you might be doing them in your city or even your local pool, but most of them you have to travel outside of your city or even outside of your country. And I think this is a pretty interesting part of being an artistic swimming coach, traveling opportunities. Obviously, most of the time when I travel, I just see the pool. But I can say I've seen so many pools all around the world, right? So I get a few hours or maybe even one day to, see the city and, be a tourist for a day sometimes if we stay a little bit longer for the competition as well. Plus, it's a nice opportunity to bond with the team and to meet new people, meet new cultures. And this part of being an artistic swimming coach is very rewarding as well. And the next pros, it's a sense of community. When I used to swim and when I used to be an athlete, for me, my teammates were like family because we spent basically all the time together. We were swimming together, we were going to the same school together. When we were going for a competition or a camp, we were also obviously together. So it's like, we spent so much time that we just became a family. And even to this day, I still meet some of my teammates and we still laugh about things that we were doing when we were swimming. So, I mean, it's a great sense of community. And it's a small community. Artistic swimming is a small community. And by the way, this August, I will be leading an in person camp for master athletes. So, if talking about community, if you want to try artistic swimming or you are already an artistic swimmer and you want to, meet new people, have some fun, it's a 5-day camp in Poland. I'm going to leave a link to a form and more information that you can learn about this camp, and I hope to see you there. Now, the pros number 5 is the life-changing impact. And when I was a young coach, I actually didn't realize that I have such impact on my athletes, but I've been in this as an artistic swimming coach in this career for like over 10 years, and I had already some athletes coming back to me and telling me how my coaching helped them in school or in some life situations and like outside of the pool, not only in artistic swimming. It was in real life, the real life events like discipline, being on time, as I mentioned, perseverance, never giving up, and so on and so on. It's like very challenging, but also very rewarding. Yeah, as I said, back in the days, I didn't even realize that I have such influence on the athletes that I'm coaching. But now that I'm older and now that I'm coaching more, it actually feels very empowering to know that I can teach someone and make life changing habits or even the decisions that they make. I think it's wow. Pretty incredible actually. And the next pros is like you never stop learning when you are an artistic swimming coach because the sport is always evolving. We have new routines to ride, we have new choreographies to do. We have like from one competition to the next one, you learn. And it's like you always evolve and you always learn different techniques, new sculling techniques, maybe new training types, and so on and so on. So I view this as a good side of the sport because, yes, it might be overwhelming at sometimes when it's just too many changes at once and you have to learn it all. But I actually like to learn. So for me, it's perfect. I like this side of the sport and I like this about being an artistic swimming coach. And the last pros I wanted to talk about is the joy of success. So I'm not only talking about getting medals, because for sure, if your team gets a medal, like the feeling is incredible, but also about beating their personal best or performing their routine the best they have ever performed. Even if they don't get the medal, but you still can feel this joy and, like celebrating together and like those different, like those small steps on the way as well. And this is like fulfillment, right? Because not all teams are gonna get the medal straight away. It might take years, but I like to celebrate step by step different little accomplishments as well during the training, not only during the competitions. And I think this builds a nice community and this builds a nice working environment between coaches, athletes, parents, and so on, instead of focusing on this big, big goal. Obviously, I have big goals. And when I achieve them, I mean, the feeling is incredible. But I try also to focus on the small wins, and this just feels nicer for everyone. Of course, as any job, being an artistic swimming coach also has cons because it's not all fun, glitter, and pink glasses. It's also hard work and sometimes it can be quite stressful. So now I'm going to go over the con list and then at the end I'm gonna summarize it so you have a nice summary and then you can pick if it's for you or not. It would be nice if you let me know in the comments what you are thinking. If the pros actually outweigh the cons for you, let me know. But let's go into the cons. So the first con is a demanding schedule. Obviously, it all depends to for what club or what type of competition team or the recreational team you are working for. But if you are working full time, I would say this can be quite demanding because the practices are usually in the morning and in the afternoon. Athletes go to school during the day, so the practice morning, school, another practice in the evening. Or if you are working as a national team coach, then obviously the schedule is way different and the athletes train way more. So you have to be ready to put a lot of hours on deck, but also don't get me wrong, you have to put the choreographies, all the coach cards, all the scheduling, all the training plans, communication with the parents, communication with the coaches, and so on and so on. There's a lot of things going on and the schedule can be quite demanding. You also have to be ready to travel to competitions during Saturday, Sunday, and then let's say you might have one day off and then you go again for trainings. Sometimes the athletes compete every week even or every 2 weeks, so you might not even have time off, proper time off during the competition season. So this is something to keep in mind. And the con number 2, it's high pressure. Yes, being an artistic swimming coach requires you to deal with stress and there is a lot of pressure, not only from coaching the athletes, because coaching the athletes is just one aspect, but when it comes to expectations, your expectations, the athletes' expectations, the parents' expectations, the club expectations, plus all the planning and talking to the unhappy parents or maybe parents have some concerns, then you also have to manage the team spirit and so on. Then there is also the administrative part of the coach card, filling out, music cutting, and so on and so on. So be ready for high pressure, and especially if you really want to do well and you have this kind of goal in mind that you want to get to medals, you really need to get ready to deal with stress and a lot of pressure as well from all sides, not only coaching on deck. Remember my words. And the con number 3 is the financial uncertainty. And I'm talking from experience working for different clubs in different countries and so on. Quite often, the clubs cannot afford a full-time coach, so they offer a part-time position. But that means if you are moving to a new country, you have to somehow fill in the time and you also have to find like another part-time job. So that's one. Or if you are a freelancer like me, some months can be better, some months can be a little bit worse, and it's a little bit also this kind of roller coaster of not knowing what the month will be like. All right, so the con number 4 is the mental and physical strain. And I am talking here about being at the pool, usually for a long amount of time. And the pools are very hot and humid, they are very loud. So it's very hard to stay concentrated in this environment. And in artistic swimming, you really need to pay attention to detail. So you cannot just relax and not look. You have to be focused and you have to pay attention to detail for sometimes even like 6-7 hours. And this, if you are not careful, might lead to burnout. So make sure you also prioritize your self-care and make sure that you do something for yourself outside of the practice hours, because otherwise this might lead to burnout. And the next con is the emotional investment. And I was talking about this in pros because, it's nice to be invested with your athletes. It's nice to care. It's a nice feeling, but it can also be very overpowering and it can also be very draining. If you care a lot about your athletes' development, about how they perform, and you take it very personally, no matter if they perform like well or if they perform poorly, then you take it very personally, and this can affect your mental health. So this is something that I was talking about that is rewarding, but also it can go in the other direction. And I think the biggest challenge is to actually kind of dissociate yourself as a coach from your athletes' ups and downs. Because one competition might go fantastic, but the other one might go very badly. And then you will be thinking, if you don't dissociate, that you are a bad coach. And that might not be a case. It might be because the athletes had a bad day, or they were not prepared enough, or other things happened, right? Especially now with base marks. I mean, it's so easy to just go really badly in the other direction. So that's something I've been struggling with as well, to kind of draw that line. But I think it also comes with experience and just, going through this as a coach as well. And I'm pretty sure if you are a coach or you're gonna start being a coach, you will go through this as well. So just remember my words and try to learn this pretty early in your career. Now, the number 6 of the cons is actually for the head coaches, and it's the administrative load. And artistic swimming is not only about being on deck. Artistic swimming coaching is also the administration. So, like filling out the forms, making sure that the athletes are registered for the competitions, designing costumes, cutting the music, communicating with the parents, making travel arrangements, and so on. It's like the list just goes on and on. Even buying equipment or making sure that everyone has all the costumes, or, equipment when it comes to t-shirt, like club t-shirts and so on. It's a lot for the head coaches. And it can feel, because apart from that, we are also coaching. So it can feel very overwhelming. And I'm pretty sure many coaches were struggling with that. And I would say, make sure that you have your support system, like, I don't know, someone that you can talk to, maybe someone that can help you out a little bit and take this burden a little bit from you. And even make sure that you prioritize yourself care and you get some time off. And I know it's difficult when you have everything to do, but this is again something that the coaches have to learn. And the last con I wanted to talk about is limited life and work balance. And especially again, if you are a head coach, you have to know that this is not a typical 9 to 5 job. You don't go to your work and then at 5 you just say bye and then you forget about it. I actually had instances when I was choreographing a routine in the morning. We had like 3 hours practice, and then I was choreographing it. And then I still heard the music going in my head the whole day. And I was thinking, oh no, maybe actually in this moment we should do this a little bit different. Or maybe actually next practice I'm going to make some changes already. Or my athlete had a problem. I was still thinking how to help them. So, it's like you are in this environment the whole time and your head is spinning and you just go and go and go, and you are not at 5 cutting yourself off. It's just going and going and going. And this is also, I think, something that a lot of coaches struggle with, to kind of make a clear cut where it's enough. When it's enough to stop thinking about artistic swimming and just do something for yourself, or just like stop planning, stop overthinking things, or stop even thinking about the new rules, it's difficult. So again, something to think about when you want to be an artistic swimming coach. And after talking about all the pros and cons of being an artistic swimming coach, now the question is it worth it? And I think for me, it's worth it. And especially if you like being creative, if you like to help others, and if you like to see that others are learning from you and you are doing something, you are giving yourself and your knowledge and your energy to them, then this is definitely for you. And I think coaching is a calling. It's not for everyone, and it requires a lot of passion. It requires a lot of investment from your side, and it requires a lot of creativity and willingness and energy, and basically love for the sport and love for coaching as well. And for me, this is something that I love, and that's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm sharing my knowledge with you as well. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe to my channel. And also let me know in the comments, what do you think is the biggest pros and biggest cons of being an artistic swimming coach? Maybe in the next video I can add your comments. And also it would be nice for me to learn from you and find out what you think. See you in the next video. Bye.